Hi, and welcome to Don't Shrink to Fit podcast. I am your host, Claudia Noriega-Bernstein. My podcast is all about you and all the courageous women like you. I truly believe we're here to inspire, empower, share, and embrace one another. In my podcast, I talk with women from different backgrounds and careers about love, family, friendship, their wins and falls, and the life they love. We explore our feminism, challenges in an intimate and honest way. I truly believe we can only fly if we embrace each other. I have a new episode every week and an extra episode in Spanish on the third Thursday of every month. Please go check it out. I hope you enjoy it and can't wait to hear from you. And I also want to tell you that I am nominated for the Women in Podcasting Award. Please go to the coaching category and vote for the Don't Shrink to Fit podcast. Your support means the world to me. The more women my podcast reaches, the more life we can empower as we are all billboards to each other. The link is in the description. And now, back to the show. Okay. Hi everyone. Today we have a treat. We have Georgie here. I'm sure you guys remember her because when I decided to do a podcast, she was my first one.
Ta-da!
So, and it was so scary to me because I never had done a podcast before. I didn't know what I was getting into. And I love you. So it was, for me, I need to have somebody that I feel comfortable with, that we can talk about things, and that is interesting for the audience to learn about. So I welcome you again after a year anniversary.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Happy anniversary, everyone! Yeah.
And so let's chat. Let's talk about it. What happened in this year?
Oh my god, it's been a wild year. Actually, I didn't even think about that. What's been happening in this year? It's just been, it's been crazy. A lot of growth in myself. And yeah, God, what have I done? I don't know.
You have done a lot. So let's start with your record, because you used to have a band when you were younger, right? And this year you decided to release some of those songs.
Yeah, so it's wild. So so it all came about in this really organic way, which I do feel like that's what happens in my life all the time, is that if I really want something and I'm fighting for it, it doesn't really happen.
Right.
If I just sort of let go and breathe, it happens, which is a lesson that you've been trying to teach me for many years, and I had to learn it on my own. But I have
attract.
Yeah, exactly. You let
You
go
don't chase.
and you attract, but it's so hard, I think, especially with an upbringing as a dancer. It's like no pain, no gain. If you don't work hard, you're not going to achieve anything. So I had to undo all of that and realize that I have all the talent and the gifts and the hard work and everything, and now I've just got to let it go, because I've realized that a lot of amazing things that have happened in my life have happened when I wasn't trying or doing anything. So I co-produced the movie Bosco, which so I guess that happened only this year. That's wild.
That
it's
was
only
the
been
first thing we talk about actually someday. The movie.
That movie, yes.
We talked about that in our first interview because you were about to release it.
Yes.
You sent me an email. I remember clearly. She sent me an email and she's like, "This is the reel, don't share it.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think." So I saw the reel, and then I think a month after is when I launched my...
And it's wild because Claudia was like, "I'm going to watch it live." So she watched someday on FaceTime. She's watching it. I'm watching the reaction. It was amazing. So yeah, I'm trying to remember, I should have done my homework and been like, what have I done this year? I can't believe, it's weird when it's it feels like the time has gone by so fast. Yeah. Then also February feels like yesterday, but I guess it was, beginning of this year. So yeah, so a movie that I co-produced came out in February, and the cool thing about this movie is that there's a really amazing soundtrack, and we have Snoop Dogg and The Game and French Montana on this soundtrack. So we've been figuring out as we go along how to release the songs and get everything out there, because the movie came out on Peacock, and then we're like, oh no, now we need to release the music. So we're doing all of that, and I'm researching how to get everything out there and figuring out distribution and all this stuff. And then I'm like, whenever I'm doing stuff like that, especially even producing, like I fell in love with producing even without there being a role for me, which,
right.
you know, the reason I became a producer was like so I could cast myself. And
so
then
you can give them your opinion.
Exactly.
Your constructive opinion.
My constructive opinion is I should be the lead. Yeah, so that's why I fell into it. But then I did Bosco, and there was no role for me in it. And I was like, am I going to enjoy like producing this without there being a role for me? And then I realized I still loved it, and I joke that like the producer is like the best actor on set, you know, because you're like making sure everyone's happy and you're really performing. It's really a show, and it's like this puppeteering and everything. So I really fell in love with producing. And so while I was putting the soundtrack out there, I'll tell a 1,200 stories, and I will get to the point at some point. When I was getting the soundtrack out there, I was like, oh wait, I have all this music, and I did nothing with it. Can I swear?
You can swear.
Okay, I did fuck all with it. And I just had this music, you know, and I'm like, and I was really proud of it. Back when I did it, and I did some of the music with my old band back in England, and then some of the music when I first moved to LA, some of the music a bit later with my first boyfriend in LA, and it was all this music that I'm like, when I listen to the songs, I'm like, I'm really proud of the lyrics, because it was like, it's like a timestamp, it's like a diary entry of like 20-something Georgie, you know, and it's funny like listening back to it and being like, oh, that was about that boy that I thought was the one. That was about that guy that I thought was the one.
What I love about it is that about the movie and about the tracks and about the you being part of it is that not only it's a kind of a true story because it's part of your life and it's your feelings there, but you got to revisit those feelings.
Yeah.
And revisit that version of you that was then. And kind of not only see how far you have come, but how different you would deal with whatever situation, because you are a better version of yourself now.
Yeah, that was a really wild thing when deciding to put out this old music, and I wasn't trying to pretend to everyone like, listen to my brand new album. Like, I was very honest. I'm like, this is my music that I wrote back, you know, when I was still living in England and engaged to a different man.
Right.
And when I first moved to LA, and then I had this lovely boyfriend, and then I was taking this, like all these different things. So then I was like, I'm going to release a song a week, and I'm going to share the story with my fans and friends and family and anyone that watches me. And it was really, really therapeutic, because it was like, oh my goodness, yeah, this was, and even just me listening back to the lyrics, I'm like, God, wow, like I would feel the terrible stuff I'd gone through, but also I'd be really proud of myself. I'm like, God, she was so wise when she wrote that song. Or just like some of the lyrics, I'm like, wow, that was so dark and so heavy, but like, but she, me. Wrote it so great.
Because you do, and we talk about this many times, all the versions of yourself are what you are now.
Yeah.
Right? If you wouldn't have that girl, if you would not have been that girl at some point in your life, you would not be the person that you are right now.
Exactly.
You know, so you love them all, but they're all different versions of you.
Exactly. Yeah, so I just really enjoyed it, and I ended up like looking forward to Fridays. I'm like, oh, Friday, I've got a new song coming out, and like my mum would always text me. I guess it would be like my evening, and she's waking up, she's like, can't wait to see what song, you know. And so it was really fun to just put them out there in the world, and even, you know, I don't need much. Like, well, no, that's a lie.
I was holding my breath.
I do need a lot. No, like, of course, like, it's funny, I always joke about like my life. I've always, my dreams just change, you know, in the sense of like, when I was younger, I was like, I'm going to be famous. Like when I'm 16, just like Britney Spears, and then I became 16 and I wasn't then, and then, you know, and then you just keep changing it. Just keep moving it. When I'm this, when I'm that. But I do want a lot. Like, I'd love to be the next Britney Spears, but well, maybe not with everything she's been through. But like I with the music, just getting one message where someone's like, oh my God, this song, like someone's like, oh my God, listening to your music made me pass all my exams. Right. You know, like I'm like, oh my God, that makes me so happy, you know, or like this song like really inspired me to do this. Like, or another thing that happened was like these kids at this random place in the UK, choreographed a dance number to one of my songs, and it was
lovely.
so amazing because it felt like full circle, because like I began in dance and I was, you know, obsessed with like music and all these pop stars and people, and so like seeing kids like dancing to my music, I was like, oh, this is why I put the music out there.
Well, but that's when the Britney Spears feeling comes.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you want something, it's not that something, it's what it makes you feel. So
Exactly.
you already experience what it is to change somebody's life with your words, with your music, you know, share that emotion that you felt when you wrote it, when you sing it the first time, and how you feel now. I mean, all that is a gift to your fans that now know you, that now know that Georgie that you are. So they can relate, you know, they can say, oh, wow, she didn't have all happy days, you know?
Yeah.
And that's okay, because that's how you connect with people, being authentic, right? They see you as a human. Let's talk about Stella, for example. You know, Stella is that character that you bring to life using your voice.
Yeah.
You know, which has some parts of you, but has a lot of parts that are not you.
Well, yes, basically not me at all.
Exactly.
Like she's a real evil bitch. Yeah,
I understand, but it has that spontaneous, spare of the moment.
It's fun to get angry
it's
too.
It's fun, right? So the audience that know you through Stella knows a side of you. There is other people that now got to know you through your movies, so they're knowing another side of you. You know, so little by little, you know, they're pieces of a masterpiece. So that's who you are. But now they can appreciate it because now they have a rapport with you.
Yeah.
It's not just like those singers that out of the blue got a hit and you don't know anything about them. So it's harder to relate to the singer. You relate to the music because you like the music. But in your case, it has been so many different faces of you to come to where you are right now, right?
Yeah, sometimes I'll say to Patrick, I'm like, can I play my music? And he's like, oh yeah, let me listen to all your lovers from the past. You know, like, let's listen to all the stories about the people before me. I'm like, that's a good point. Like, okay, we don't have to listen to it right now. It's not that romantic for you, but yeah, it is really fun to have the timestamps, like just like I love writing in your journal. It's like I do actually joke about, this isn't a joke, but like in my head I have this random fear of if I randomly died unexpectedly, and then if someone came into my room and read through your journals and they think I'm the most arrogant person on the planet because it like literally opens it up. I am amazing. My body is beautiful. I'm the most talented, hilarious human being on the planet. And it's like without context of understanding, it doesn't make, you know, it's like, because like, yeah, I'm always writing in there being like, these are all the things I want. So what she's talking about
is that I have published a journal for women, and Georgie was one of the first ones who had the journal. I gifted to her. Her first one was a gift, and she created a habit of writing in that journal every day, and it's a positive gratitude journal that empowers you to think big about yourself and to manifest things that you want in your life. So how many do you have now?
I think I'm on like my 7th or something. Yeah, and it's funny because the other day, I often wake up and my mum sends me like inspirational videos, because of the time difference. It's my morning when I get them, which is great. And recently she sent me one and it was a lady talking about how you have to look in the mirror and say, I love you. And my mum said to me, she was like, Georgie, this needs to be your new habit. And I was like, sorry, Mum, Claudia already taught me. Sorry, Mother, but Claudia already taught me. And I have a very vivid memory, and I was here in Henderson.
Do you remember the first time you did it?
And I couldn't stop crying, and I felt really uncomfortable, and I just didn't want to like do it, but I persevered and I did it, but it was really uncomfortable. And then when my mum sent me that one, it was like literally a couple of days ago, I like looked in the mirror, I was like, love you. And it was just the easiest thing. I was like, love you, you're great, yeah, love you. And it really made me laugh because of the context of like how hard it was before. And now I'm like, it's just so bloody easy.
But then I also remember when you finally did it, and you call me and you say, guess what?
Yeah.
I did the exercise and I didn't cry.
Yeah.
And I actually look at myself and I actually said, I love you, Georgie, you're great.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm, oh my God, I got chills.
Yeah, I just got chills just now too. Yeah. And it's just wild because, I'm like, oh. And I do, I had that realization. I think it was during COVID time, you know, because like I was never good at being by myself or not doing anything. I always just had to keep busy. On the go. And I thought that was because I'm a workaholic and I'm just doing it. And I was really realizing, no, I'm sorry, I keep tapping the mic. Oh, it's okay. Hello, is this thing on? Yes. And so I kept, you know, it was my escape artist. I was escaping my feelings and so then suddenly you have all this time on your hands during COVID and I'm like,
I gotta face those feelings.
Shit, I've got to be in this by myself doing this, you know, and it was just this feeling where I was like, I don't like it. So then I had to have this realization of like, why don't I like it? And then that's when I started writing about my life and then I had that realization of like, this person that's been through all this shit, she clearly hates herself because I allowed myself to get into those. I'm not victim shaming myself, that's not the right thing to do, but I am saying that it might have been my fault a little bit. A lot of the things, because
I think that and this is another thing that we talk about, we become masters in camouflaging our pain, and we become masters in showing up as our life is easy, and nobody knows what's happening before. And I think in this journey of self-discovery and self-love for you, it's what ultimately brought you to a place where now you love yourself, you're happy with yourself, and you're attracting that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it was in that period of time that you found love.
Yeah.
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 Because you love yourself.
Yeah, it's really wild, like to think that way, because I think everyone would have looked at me even back then and thought I loved myself just because the way I am. And it's like, no, that was all for you guys. That was a show. Deep down, I was like, oh, you know. And so yeah, it was a big realization to be like, wow, okay, so what can I do? And then it was because it's so like, how can you just be like, oh, I'm gonna love myself today? Like, it doesn't just happen like that. You just got, it's like step by step, like, I'm gonna be kinder to myself. And I've gone like the other way. I used to hate sleep. Like literally, I'd do anything to avoid sleeping. So much so that like it would get to a point where my body would just
collapse.
Be like, you're dead now and you're gonna sleep. So I would have thought, like, I always just say, I'll sleep when I'm dead, it's fine. And now I'm obsessed with sleeping because I understand like how important it is for me and for my mental health and how much nicer I am to myself when I sleep. So I've gone from like being like never wanting to sleep to being like, oh my god, like last night I only got 7 hours and I'm like really annoyed. It's not enough. I'm like, I need 8 or more, baby. I need 8 or more. This is not okay. So yeah, it's just wild. Like my brain is completely reprogrammed into like, oh, what can I do that's gonna make myself feel good rather than what can I do to escape feeling bad.
Right.
Wow, that was a good sentence, wasn't it?
That is a great
I just made that up.
I'm gonna make a little reel about it.
Yeah. What can I do to make myself feel good rather than escaping feeling bad? That was a good one. Yeah.
So talking about love, is there anything you would like to share?
I'm engaged.
Yeah.
Oh God, now I'm gonna cry.
I already cried before.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's so wild, you know, because I met Patrick 5 years ago. So, and I, you know, like so many people have been like, oh, like what's he bloody waiting for, you know. But for me, I love it because 5 has always been my lucky number. So like I grew up at number 5. When I was 4 years old, like I was really sick and I died. And by the time I was 5, I was cured of all my illnesses. There's 5 years between me and my sister, 5 years between my parents, 5 years between my grandparents on both sides, 5 years between Patrick and I, and then now 5 years into our relationship, he proposes. And also my ring finger is 5.5.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Is that wild? Yeah, when I got it measured, I was like, that's what, and I'm 5 foot 5.5. So the 5 is very wild in my life, and it just, you know, it just all feels right, and you know, and it is funny. Like I do feel, I've never been in a relationship long enough to realize that it can get better.
Right.
Like I always joked about my expiration date was 2 years, but it's true.
Every relationship. Yourself.
Yeah.
You used to sabotage yourself. It was kind of like, it's too good to be true, so I'm going to do something to mess this up because I know that if I don't, somebody is gonna do it and I'm gonna get hurt. So I'm gonna sabotage it right now.
I wonder. I don't know. We're gonna have to ask my ex-boyfriends. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is they broke up with me right before the 2-year mark, and it was like that. It was like clockwork. I had 3 2-year relationships.
Wow.
And so it was really like, oh. And I remember when I was with Patrick, and it was like the 2-year mark. I was like, there's still time. There's still time to run away. You could go, you know. And then there was the 3 years, and then there was the 4 years, and now, you know, and now it's the 5 years, and yeah, it's really cute. Like the other day we were working out together, and we were on the ground doing some sort of thing, and we were like mirroring each other, and I felt like we were doing like the I Love Lucy sketch in the mirror, and so, like I feel like we're like little kids, and it's just, yeah, it's really cute, and we just keep laughing. But I guess it like the point of this podcast is to help everyone, help other ladies, and I had to do a lot of work. And I don't want to say relationships are work. Everyone says that, like, relationships are work. This wasn't about the relationship. This wasn't about me and Patrick in any manner. This was about me. And I was very grateful because Patrick did hold me accountable. So like early on in the relationship, I would just explode at him about God knows the hell what. But that's all I knew. All I knew was passion, and then you fight, and then the passion, and then you know, that's what I thought was a relationship. And so then he was like, I don't know what you're doing here, but like, this is not okay. And I was like, I don't like it either. And he was like, well then stop doing it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that. You know? I didn't even know. Oh wait, I have the power to stop doing this. So then I had to unlearn all these things that I thought that was normal.
Right.
So I had to be like, okay, I'm not, you know. And it was my inner monologues from the beginning of the relationship went on, you know, just talking myself out of things, and now it's easy, it's effortless. I don't have to.
Well, I remember, I mean, how many times we've been on the phone and you were like, you know, seeing that situation with the same glasses that you saw other situations.
Yeah.
You know, and when we would talk and change a little bit the perception of the situation, you on your own would realize, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, let me go back and talk to him. What was that again? Okay. Let me go.
And I messaged Claudia and be like, wait, what exactly did you say? Because I feel like I'm going to say it wrong. Can you write it down so I can say it exactly the right way? Because you know. And I have you to thank for a lot of it. And it was a lot of undoing and yeah.
But that's how you learn.
Yeah.
And one thing, and I know he's very private, but one thing I really love, and I say this to you many times, is that you have found somebody who loves that you're yourself. Not allows you to be yourself, because we don't need permission to be ourselves. But he actually embraces it. He wants you to be yourself, and he wants you to choose to be with him. Not because you need to be with him, but because you chose in him to share this journey with you. Yeah. And I have witnessed it when you guys are together, you know, when he just lets you be.
I know.
He lets you be. There is even you sometimes, I don't know if you have seen that clips of entertainers, you know, that the girl is like all crazy and the guy is looking at her like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed.
I know.
You know, you don't see that in your relationship.
No.
And that for me is the lottery. You know, I always tell my husband, when I met you, I knew how I like my ex, because I used to emulate. You know, if my ex-husband like scrambled eggs, I like him too. Yeah. Because we don't want to make waves, you know. Yeah. So we want to adapt ourselves to whoever is next to us. And by doing that, we lose our identity. You know, we become somebody that we think, because we're not even sure, the other person wants us to be. But when you stay true to yourself and you find somebody that actually loves that you are true to yourself and loves to be part of you, you win the lottery. Yeah. You know? So.
I know, and it's so funny because like people that don't know us love to be like, oh, I love that you gave up drinking because Patrick told you to, or I love that you did this because Patrick told. I'm like, what? Like Patrick didn't tell me to do any of the things that people think. Yeah. I just suddenly was like, yeah.
That was a crutch for you. And now you have somebody that empowers you to be who you are. So you don't need to have a drink to pretend to be somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah. And the drinking was just the next stage of I had the realization, I'm an escape artist. That's what I do. I escape my feelings. I escape my problems. Well, I don't escape my problems in the sense of like,
in that sense,
I'll handle everything, but
I don't want to think about it right now.
Yeah, I'll escape my feelings, and I'll just and then with the drinking, like, I'm just gonna, I don't want to feel sad. I'll make myself feel better with a bit of alcohol, and blah, 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 And so it was just the next trajectory. Okay, I'm gonna allow myself to feel. Oh wait, making me feel. Oh, now I'm obsessed with feelings. Like, I'm obsessed with sleeping, and I'm obsessed with feeling. Isn't that so weird? Like, who thought? No one. Mum, do you hear that? My mum won't believe this. Mummy? Feelings? Yeah. It's wild. Like, I'll be like, oh, okay.
You have to go through your feelings.
Yeah,
you have to embrace your feelings.
And I'll be like, why am I feeling this way? And sometimes it takes me a while to be like, oh, it was that text message that someone said made me feel shit about myself in some way.
Let's go to the root of the feeling. Let's see why we're having that reaction.
And then
once you understand your feelings, you embrace them.
Yeah.
It's like fear. When you understand what signs fear is giving you, then you embrace fear. And then you go, okay, fear, we can go. Trust me.
Yeah.
I got it. I got your message. I know what you worry about. I got this.
Yeah.
So embracing those feelings actually empower you to keep on going and keep on wanting to feel more, because the feelings are not your enemy anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it.
My life wasn't always like this. I became a single mom in a foreign country with 3 girls under 5. I had cancer, no health insurance, no job, and no family around to help me. I felt defeated. I felt lost, stuck. I was terrified. Life can be challenging. It was for me a few years ago. I tried many times to stay afloat. I fell and picked up myself again and again. And each time I failed, each time I felt lost, each time things didn't go my way, I would look at my girls and tell myself, you can give up. All that while I was trying to make it look fun and easy for them and for the world. It wasn't easy. It was hard and scary. Fast forward to now, I know every lesson and every fall was worth the life I get to enjoy now. Sometimes I look back and I think to myself, how in the world did I do it? But I figured it out, and I was able to find my way home to myself. I knew there was something better for me. I knew I deserved to be happy. And so do you. We cannot change what we don't acknowledge. So now, I help other women, like you, find their way back home, identify what is holding them back. I teach them how to navigate the challenges life throws our way. Trying to make it look easy, trying to keep up, is exhausting. How would you like to wake up every morning empowered to receive what's meant for you, enjoying the life you're meant to live? If this is you, let's chat. There are so many ways you can get access to my coaching. Let me guide you to achieve that life that you're dreaming about. It's your turn.
I was saying to Pat the other day, because we just have a lot of things going on. It's a lot of great things, but it's still overwhelming. It's just, it's just like a lot. And I was like, I just really want to just escape for a second. I just had that moment where I was like, I just want to escape. And then we went to see Absinthe, the show.
Absinthe, yeah.
And it was just so amazing. And I was like, oh my God, that's an escape. I just need a spectacle, darling.
Yeah.
That's all I just need a circus show. Can someone create a spectacle for me so I can escape my brain for an hour and then I can get back to work.
Right. So that's so lovely. So tell us, what is coming for you? What do you have planned now? What are you working on?
What do I have planned now? So I'm actually, Typical Squeeze was the first song that I released. And it was great because I released it the first day of Level Up Expo, which is one of the conventions that I go to. And so it was so great because every single fan, every single person that I met, I was like, listen to my song, listen to my song, listen to my song. And so it was really great because like there were some people that had speakers and they'd be walking around the convention playing my song. Like it was just the best feeling that I could ever get. And full circle moment, which is a lot that happens in my life. When I first moved to LA, I hated it for the first 3 days. And then on the 4th day, I went to Barney's Beanery, which is this sports bar in LA. And I thought that it was a club, so I dressed up like full on, like I was going on stage, like ridiculous outfit, like my hair, like my eyelashes longer than life, but I think I had like, you know, fuck me boots on and just like big, like crazy jewelry and everything. And then I walk in and it was like as if the whole place stopped because it was a sports bar and they were like, who is this bitch? What is she doing here? I was so embarrassed. And I sat at the bar, drank some tequila, this is before I gave up, and I made a bunch of friends. And that night I bounced around with them and then I ended up going to this house party. And I went to this house party and then I got tired because I was jet lagged. So I saw a bed because it was like this, your place with the glass. I could just see the bed. So I just slid open the door and I just snuck in the bed. Next morning I woke up, rolled over, screamed, there was a guy in the bed. So I was like, and this isn't one of my trauma stories. This isn't one of my sexual abuse stories. I was still fully clothed and I screamed and this guy was like, Georgie, please calm down. I went to go to bed and you were in it. So this guy was Jerry and he took me out for breakfast the next morning and he was like, so tell me about what you're doing in LA. And I was like, well, you know, I'm staying on my friend's sofa. And he's like, why don't you live here? So I went to a house party and I never left. I moved into that house.
Oh my God.
So this guy, Jerry, I moved into his house and I lived with 3 guys and we would jump off the roof into the pool. Like we had the best, most amazing time. And I think it was the first 3 months I lived there. And I probably wouldn't still be in LA if it wasn't for like being just thrown into this fun and this family and just this vibe and creativity and stuff. We made music together and everything. The reason I'm telling you this long story is this guy, Jerry, heard Typical Squeeze and he wrote to me and he was like, Georgie, I want to do the music video. And I'm like, oh my God. And so Jerry and I, you know, we
come full circle.
Full circle from the opening. And not only that, we're going to film one of the days in this house. So I've got goosebumps. It really is full circle moment because like I am in LA because of this magical home and now I'm filming in this magical home. So it's really, really amazing. And yeah, Jerry just heard the song and he's just like, I love the song. I love the concept because the concept is just like, I'm not your normal, just like what you were saying. Patrick lets me be me. Like it's just all about that. Like, so the whole music video is me showcasing that I breathe fire, that I do stilts, that I do like all these wild things. Like I'm going to drive down the PCH with my hair and rollers, like looking all glamorous and then just yelling profanities at someone's terrible driving, you know, like just things that make me, you know. And so we're filming that music video at like the 2nd week of September. So I'm like super excited and I'm super excited to finally work with Jerry because we recorded an amazing song for his movie and then but that he couldn't get the rights for the movie, so we just no, he did the movie, but we couldn't get the rights for the song. So we had like all these things, we kept wanting to work together and it just hasn't quite worked out. And then fast forward 12 years later, you know, we're going to do this amazing music video together.
Timing is everything.
So, exactly. And I think that's why I always say, be nice to everyone. Because you never know. You never know when like suddenly they're going to come back into your life and you're going to make something amazing together. Like it's you know, there's so many people that are like social climbers or they talking to someone because they want this out of the person. Like I hate that shit and I will never do that. Like if I feel good around someone, I want to talk to them. I want to hang out with them. I want to work with them. I want to do whatever.
But it's really your energy.
You know? Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, I mean, it's like what you're putting out there. I always said your energy makes an imprint in a room before you even walk in.
Exactly.
You know, so you have that high energy. You're going to attract that authenticity, that joy, that vibration that brings more things to you. You know, exactly. So, and some people that have different intention don't have that high vibration. And
I know.
Feel it.
It's true, but I do have some friends that I'm like, God, they're really clever. In the sense of like you know, they go to that person to get this, and then they go to that person to get that, and it's that's just not my path, and that's not the way anything's happened to me in life, and yeah, I'm just excited to create this with Jerry, and it's also exciting because I get my producer hat on again, because I'm straight away, I'm, you know, messaging people, and everyone's, you know, because I give good phone, everyone's saying yes to me when I call them up, and it's great. So it's going to be like a 3-day shoot. So
I
it's
love
super
that.
exciting, and so the first day is going to be like performing punk rock fire at his house, like jumping off the roof into the pool, showing all my circus skills, and then the second day is going to be in an art gallery, so showing my art muse stuff. And then the third day I'm going to do the Lyra hoop with my girl Monica. We're going to do a fun routine on that, and then we're going to drive on the PCH and yell at people. So I think that's my next like main thing that I've got going on.
I love that. And then I also saw that they're going to be drawing you, right?
Yeah. So that was the crazy thing when I first moved to LA. I literally, like, I thanks to Jerry and this amazing home and these amazing friends that I made, I was like, I'm just gonna move to LA. I'm just gonna make it happen. Rather than thinking logically and being like, let me go home, because I had great jobs in England. I should have gone home. I should have saved up my money, you know, done it that way. But instead, like, no, I'm just gonna make it happen. So it took me like 6 months to get my visa, and I remember it vividly because by April I was living in my own like big apartment, expensive place, and I finally got my visa, and I was like, shit, I've spent all my money on my visa. I've made it to America. I have no job.
No, I don't have
I have no prospects. I have no money. Like, what the hell am I doing? You know? So I'm sitting in this big place that I've just paid for this month, but like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for next month.
Right.
And my brain's just freaking out. And the way I deal with things, and I don't know if I do it as much now, but definitely my pattern before was I would have a full-on meltdown.
Right.
Freak out, scream, cry, panic, think the world's ending. And then I'll calm down and I'll figure out what to do. You know, so I did that. And then I was like thinking about what jobs I could do, because I can only work in entertainment. Like I couldn't go and work in a restaurant and stuff like with my visa. So I was like, oh, I love being naked and I love art. Why don't I like pose for artists? And so that's like, so I posed for like one Korean art school, and they made fun of me because they were like, oh, I love your poses. It's very high fashion. And I'd lied my way into getting this job. So I'd said, I've art mused all over London and all over the UK, and I listed all these amazing art colleges because my sister went to art school. So I knew the names of them all. So I pretended that I posed, you know, fake it till you make it. I pretended that I posed for all these people. I hadn't. So now I'm just like thrown into this job that I have no idea what I'm doing. So I think like most art muses are very pedestrian. They'll like just sit like this. And I was like, you know, full on like posing like a proper. So I was like, but apparently people liked it because it was different, and then so I got booked on more and more, and like, you know, thankfully that led me to Tanya, who I've, you know, she's like my LA mother, and I got to be immortalized and do all this amazing stuff, and you know, Tanya passed at the end of last year, and I don't want that part of my life to die with her. Like, obviously it won't die with her because I'm surrounded by her sculptures. I'm immortalized thanks to her, and I'll feel her around me constantly. But I also I realize I'm like I really loved art musing, so I'm just sort of easing my way back into a few gigs, and so I have one.
I'm gonna tell you a funny story.
Yes, please.
When I went to art school too, you know this, and I paint and I do all that stuff.
I didn't know you went to art school. I know you paint, but I didn't know you went to art school.
Yeah, I started taking painting lessons and classes since I was like 15 years old. Amazing. Actually, there was a lady around the corner of my house that had a studio, so I would walk and go and take classes there. And then I went to better classes to learn, but they had the naked person, right, to learn how to draw.
Okay.
But I was very like, I don't know, shy about it, and I would feel uncomfortable that this naked person
was it a woman or a man?
No, they have women and they have men.
Okay, because a man, I think it's a bit more uncomfortable.
But I didn't feel comfortable, so I would sit in all the way in the back, right? So I would see him, and I have to squint to kind of see it, and then I didn't want to do it. But I used to paint naked women all the time, and my daughter said to me not long ago, she goes, "Mom, you used to paint naked women, right? I remember when I was growing up, there were all these naked paintings of women. You know, I would do it with chalk, or I would do it with acrylic or whatever. And I go, yeah. And she didn't ask anymore. And yesterday we went to this house, and this guy that bought your painting that I made of you.
I know, I want that painting. Oh, can I buy it off you, man?
and then so he has this painting of this woman naked, and I said, you know, I used to paint naked women. And he goes, oh, you had somebody model? And I go, no, I used to look at myself in the mirror.
I was waiting for that. I was like, I bet it was your naked body. Yes.
Everybody that has any of my paintings when I was painting naked women, that was me.
Wow, I love that.
And my girls remember that I would have these big canvases.
And you didn't know?
No, that's my daughter in the studio. So yeah.
I didn't know she sold them. I knew they were.
I didn't sell them. I give them away.
But you didn't know. You didn't know that it was her body.
No, I did. I remember.
You recognized it. Yeah. Oh my! I
and
love
she said
that.
to me, she goes, "Mom, I think Isabella was with somebody." And they were talking about it, and so she called me. She goes, "Mom, didn't you used to paint naked women? Yeah, and was that you, right?" And she told me the whole conversation on the phone. So yesterday, when I saw that, I said, "Yeah, I used to paint naked women." And he goes, "Oh, you used to have like a model?" I'm like, "No, that was me." And my husband is looking at me because I made a naked painting for him. So he looking at me like, "That's you." He thought I was just doing it out of memory, or seeing somebody.
Yeah.
But I needed the dimension, so I would put a mirror, and because at that time we didn't have cell phones or whatever, so I would put a mirror and I would look at myself and draw myself, and then I would paint it. You know?
That's self-love at its finest as well. I don't need a muse, I'm the muse. Yes, I love it. Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
You be your own muse, and you inspire. You allowed your best version to lead the way.
Yes.
You know, so
it.
yeah.
Oh my God, that's so great. I want a naked one of you, please. I love it. That's so interesting that other people's naked body would make you uncomfortable.
I was like
That's so interesting.
Mortified.
Yeah.
Like I would look at the guy or the women, and I was like, you know what I think it was? The vulnerability. I was uncomfortable with their vulnerability.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't able to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
I was very close up and very protective of myself. So we are all mirrors of each other. So seeing somebody being that vulnerable was uncomfortable to me.
It's so interesting because I always joke that the naked model is the most comfortable in the room.
Right.
But it's so true. Like even the other day, like my dad was visiting me, as you know, he came here. And I miss him so much because like he fits into mine and Patrick's lifestyle. Like he could easily live here and just be great. He's just the best. But I was posing for this art class, and I really like posing for this art class because it's in the round.
Right.
So they're all around me. So I get to really make sure I'm making each person happy as I like turn my pose around
with
and everything.
Naked body.
With my naked body. Making everyone happy with my naked body. I keep joking I don't know where this has come from, but I keep saying to Patrick, "Do you like my sexy body?" I don't know why I keep doing this Scottish accent. He's like, "Stop doing that." I'm like, "Look at my sexy body." I don't know where I've got that from. Anyway, moving back to be like my sexy body. I was posing, and then I was like, oh my God, I left my dad at home that day. And I'm like, my dad's 73, and you know this, but these people don't know this. In his 70s, he discovered he's a great artist, and he's fallen in love with it, and he loves it, and he's really good at it. And it's just so great to see something bring him so much joy. And he's just like, and he has his little easel and he does it. And I was like, damn it. So while I'm posing, I said to them, I was like, oh my goodness, I should have invited my dad to come to draw me.
And
they were all like, that's really uncomfortable. And I'm like, oh no, you don't understand. Like, I grew up in a naked house. And I was like, well, no, I didn't grow up in a naked house. I was just always naked. But like, my dad would be really uncomfortable. They just didn't understand, you know. And then I'm just babbling on. I'm just making it so much worse because everyone's like, no, that we would be really uncomfortable. I was like, but my dad wouldn't be uncomfortable. Like, he's seen it all, you know. And then, yeah. So I was like, okay, I need to shut up. And I call my dad Daddy.
I noticed in the family. My daughter Talia, when she was little, she would get to the house and take her clothes off.
Yeah.
That That was the first thing that she would do. And she wouldn't care if I had guests or whatever. So you see this 2-year-old, 3-year-old getting in the house, and the first thing, shoes out, dress out, running naked everywhere in the house.
my God,
she
I love it.
loved it.
That's how my mum would know when I was drinking. Like back in the day, was like I'd come home and be like, "Hi, mum," and like I haven't even shut the front door. I've taken all my clothes off. But yeah, there's always the nudist. You can't. You know, it's just
It's a
it's in
freedom.
us. Yeah.
Once you're comfortable with yourself, like, you know, even in the transitions that I had in my life, you know, I don't remember walking in my panties around my ex-husband, you know, like it was
Right.
always, if I had my panties, I had like a little rope or a little t-shirt or something. I am so much more comfortable with myself now, and I'm 57 years old, than when I was in my 20s. That, you know, when you're in your 20s, your body is beautiful, and you know,
It's crazy,
it's
isn't it?
different.
Yeah.
But when you accept yourself and love yourself, the opinion of the rest of the people is noise. You
Yeah.
know, it doesn't bother me anymore. So, like, I can walk around, you know, in front of my husband, which it should be, right? Comfortable. But I didn't have that luxury before. I didn't feel like I could do that. So I was always covering myself.
It's so interesting. I don't know. I like the naked thing. I've just always, even when I was very uncomfortable in my own brain and everything, I was always comfortable naked. That was the only thing. That never changed. I was just born with that thing. I don't know why that is, but yeah, being a naked human. Yeah.
Well, you know, this has been amazing. I love that you came after a year and do this, because it really feels like a whole circle for
I
me.
know. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's wild.
The not only everything that we have lived, you in your life and I in my life, we had gone through so much changes. And you know, Georgie and I met by accident. We happened to sit in the same booth
Yeah.
in a place, and she didn't know me, I didn't know her. We had no idea who we were, but there was that energy that we're talking about, and we clicked. And that person in her life wasn't anymore in her lives, and we were not involved with a lot of people that were in that group, but our friendship continued. And then, you know, it became more like a coach, patient, mentor, whatever.
I know. I'd be like, I'm
friendship, it's
sorry, I
everything
do
in
want to
a pot.
hang out with you, but I also need your help. I always need your help.
So it was, and I love that during all these years, you know, we have had these check-ins and these coffees, and we continue, you know, supporting each other and loving each other and empower each other. And I am so proud of you. You know, I love you too, and you're my bonus kid too. You know, and it's like and it's true. I was talking to one of my friends, and we were talking about parenting and how our children are our projects. You know, but how we also have these people in our life that we invest on. You know, and I feel that we both invested in our friendship, and I feel so proud that I was able to give you something. You know, to help you bloom. And look at you, you know, you have showed the world not only your talent, but your heart.
Oh, thank you.
And that's what I always saw.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna start crying. That's what I always saw, because I saw the noise and the laugh and the outfits and the hats and the purses. I mean, she has inherited my kids' purses when they were little, because you know, they didn't care for them anymore and they were funky, and I'm like, Georgie, my kids don't like these purses anymore. You want them? But I always knew your essence, and I always knew that there was that beautiful diamond that just needed to be polished. And I love to see you shine right now. Yes. Now she has it on her finger. And I love that you are finally in this path that is yours, that belongs to you, and it's gonna open 1,000 other doors for you. So I'm happy and proud that you're here with me, as a singer, as an actress, as an artist. But I am more proud of the human that you are becoming. You know, because I think there is a lot more layers of you, and I can't wait for what is what's coming your way.
What am I doing next? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, and I always watched your videos, and I loved seeing when you'd get emotional and stuff in your videos. It was so real, and I remember being like, how does she do that? And like now I do that all the time. Like I do my weekly, and I didn't think about it until just now. I do my weekly, like, thanks Georgie, it's Friday, and it always turns into this therapy session for my poor friends and whoever's watching. I always end up crying about something really random. Like I just talked about my sister the other day, and I was like, and I just broke down into, you just never know what's gonna come out. And you've always had that, like, your emotion on the surface, and like, and now I have that too.
I love that. I love that, and I love
now
you.
I feel,
And I am so
now I
happy
feel
that you came and that we were able to do this. And then now we have to do this every year.
yes. This is our yearly anniversary. Yes.
I'm gonna have all your links in the description, so
Amazing.
you guys have to go and see her movie and her records and all her music. It's very diverse.
Yeah.
It's very diverse. You have some that are very heavy metal, and some other ones that you just want to sit down and listen to those words and allow yourself to be transported to where she was in the moment that she wrote them. So
every single song's about a different man.
having said that, until she found the right one.
Yeah, exactly. They were all about the ones.
She wanted to go to the ice cream store and go, okay, let me try all the flavors first, and then let me go back to the first one, because this is the one I like.
And it's wild because, like, I used to always, like, my theme was, I'd be like, he's the one, like, when I just met him. And so I still haven't said, Paul Patrick, I still haven't told him he's the one, because, like, I feel like that's a cursed term. Like, he's the one. Like, I'm like, no, like
you don't want to jinx it.
Yeah. I need a new name for it. He's not. So yeah. So the albums, I still trying to figure out, because I've released each one as a single, and then when I release the music video, I want to release it as an album. So I still haven't actually figured out what the title is, because it used to be Beyond the Obvious, but now I'm thinking, like, should it be called All the Ones? So I don't know. So yeah, we'll see.
You can ask ChatGPT for it.
Oh yeah. ChatGPT made me cry. That made me cry. I made it write my biography. I can say this now. I made it write my biography. Because it was for, we're never going to stop talking, are we? It was for, she just keeps trying to end and I'll just keep carrying on. It was for my, for someday, for when I was putting it out in the festivals, and they're like, oh, we need your director's bio. And I'm like, how am I supposed to write a bio when I've only directed one bloody thing? Like, there's nothing.
Right.
I directed Someday, the end. Like, I don't think, you know what I'm going to do.
Right.
So then I wrote to ChatGPT and I fed it all this information about myself, and then said, but I need this for my, and then I read it back and I cried. I was like, I'm amazing. ChatGPT was, that's like Georgie Leahy did this one. I was like, oh my God.
Thank you, Chat.
So, yeah, exactly. So yeah, you can make me cry, ChatGPT, with my album title.
No, but that's good. And I think that it grabs information from everywhere too. Not only what you're putting in there, but if somebody ever wrote something about you. So
yeah.
So it's nice to say. My husband once Googled me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Look what he says about you, and I go, oh, who's this person? I want to meet him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, we have to go because we don't want to keep you guys that long.
I know.
But
I'm like, can I hug you now?
Yes, you can hug me now.
I love you. Thank you. Oh.
I love you, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you.
I love you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. And thank you for listening to us, Chad. And
Did I look?
Thank you all for listening to the Don't Shrink to Fit podcast. If you like this episode, please write a juicy comment below and subscribe to my podcast. Remember, we can only fly if we embrace each other. Until next week, be happy, be safe, and be kind to yourself.